Hey all, No here. The latest SMG4 episode and Karen arc continuation, Enough is Enough, just released. And man, we have a lot to discuss, despite the surprising lack of big lore drops featured, such as how we are still yet to get definite confirmation that Mr Weapons is the father of Karen's children. Heck, we haven't even seen what he properly looks like yet. The best reference we have is still the Minecraft model. The SMG4 team seems to be holding back on a lot of big reveals for the probable SMG4 movie releasing soon, which is likely a wise decision to make that movie even more exciting. By the way, if you're completely lost on what I'm talking about, I recommend you watch this previous video of mine before this one. Anyways, let's discuss Mr Weapons and his plan. We didn't get an explicit reveal of him being the father of Karen's kids, but we do now have even more evidence suggesting that he really is the father. When he first spoke to Karen, she immediately recognised his voice, meaning she once knew him. We also learn about what qualities of Karen Mr Weapons may have been attracted to, and furthermore, we learn that Mr Weapons had been trying to track down Karen for years, with the amount of information over the walls that we see he has collected on Karen, suggesting that he has been obsessed with finding her and the kids, with this likely being his sole focus for all those years he and Karen hadn't seen each other. It seems Karen hadn't just left Mr Weapons with their kids, she had gone into hiding from him to ensure he would never find her or the kids. Karen clearly really feared what would happen if Mr Weapons was around the children, backing up my theory that Mr Weapons wanted to raise them as assassins just like himself and Karen, and now that he is reunited with them, he seems to be doing just that. But there is obviously more to his plan than just taking the kids back and training them into becoming assassins. It seems he has something in mind for Karen too, as he reveals his involvement in the kidnapping plot to Karen and his interest in having a reunion with her. He also doesn't seem interested in killing her, as he had the opportunity to kill her when he first took a shot at Karen near the start of the new episode. The whole episode just seemed to show Mr Weapons using Mario and his remotely controlled cybernetic arm to distract Karen so that he could prepare something for her once she gets back to her home, which is where he reveals that he took the kids to. More evidence that Mr Weapons is the father is that he seems to be playing the role of a father while Karen talks to him over the radio. He talks about how he has been preparing dinner for Karen, he calls Katie Hun, he also talks about having some family time, etc. We know the next episode, or next movie, will begin with Karen being forced to return to her home in order to ensure the safety of her kids, and that is what Mr Weapons heavily implies to be threatening against Karen, especially considering when he said TikTok, suggesting he is telling her that she needs to rush back as soon as possible to ensure the safety of the kids, with this also likely acting as a way to prevent her from seeking help from the SMG4 crew or anyone else. As a side note, it seems that SMG4 getting really injured and Mario having to rush him to help may have been a way to write the SMG4 crew out of the story for a little while. Also, harming SMG4 was likely a part of Mr Weapons' plan to separate Karen from any help. But I imagine Karen won't be forced to solve this problem herself, as Mario and the crew are likely going to be the factor that Mr Weapons was not able to account for, with them likely showing up to help Karen later in the story, turning the tides in her favour against Mr Weapons. Plus, there's no way we'd go a whole SMG4 movie without Mario SMG4 featuring heavily, especially considering how prominently they've been featured in this arc so far. But anyways, what does Mr Weapons want from Karen? Well, it seems that he's staging some sort of family reunion back at Karen's house. Maybe he wants to force his way back into the family, at least for a little while, either as a form of revenge against Karen leaving him with the kids, or because he genuinely misses her and the kids. Either way, once Karen returns home, she will likely be forced to play along with Mr Weapons in this pretend family to ensure the safety of her kids. Mr Weapons is clearly an assassin not to be messed with, even for Karen, as he seems a lot more skilled and powerful than her. We saw that a single one of his cybernetic arms is capable enough to hold Karen back. Actually, let's go on another side tangent quickly about that cybernetic arm. We don't see any cyborg elements to Mr Weapons' design on his Minecraft skin, which is likely to represent his appearance in real life, just like the children's Minecraft skins. This means that this cybernetic arm is likely a part of a larger suit, explaining why it's just an arm and not something that could more efficiently move around like a drone or something. This idea is backed up by how large the arm looks. Assuming Mr. Weapon's proportions are similar to Karen's, there would definitely be room for him to fit his arm inside that cybernetic arm. I don't know if this suit will be a full body of armor similar to Iron Man, or if it will just be multiple different attachments that could fit onto his body, such as there being another arm and maybe 2 leg pieces. Fitting with his name, the cybernetic arm, and likely the whole suit, is jam-packed with a variety of different weapons, ranging from flamethrowers to snipers to machine guns to grenade launchers. Mr. Weapons is clearly not just skilled with guns, he's also an experienced mechanic when it comes to guns too. Clearly, Mr. Weapons is very dangerous and not just someone Karen can easily take care of. To recap what Mr. Weapons' plan seems to involve, he wants to train the kids into becoming assassins, and he wants to possibly rejoin the family and force Karen to go along with this game of pretend, though to what end is unclear. Does he genuinely love Karen and the kids and wants to force his way into their family? Or is this just some scheme to mess with Karen before he eventually decides to get rid of her, so that he can bring the kids into the assassin business with no troubles, likely in order to reap profit from their future assassination hits? We also still don't know what role Hitman Inc may play in this arc. Maybe Mr. Weapons still works for them, hence why he is so interested in turning his kids into assassins too. Or maybe Mr. Weapons is acting alone, and Hitman Inc could actually be a useful ally to Karen in this arc, with them maybe calling Karen later in the story, as we've seen them repeatedly contacting her. Perhaps Hitman Inc consider Mr. Weapons a threat to peace that the corporation want to see neutralized, similar to why they wanted Karen to assassinate Marty. There's still a ton of questions we are still yet to get answers to in this arc. Moving on to a different topic, it seems Karen is having self-doubts about her ability to be a mother, especially due to her previous life as a hitman. The community posts from last week, as well as the opening scene where she tortures Mario's spaghetti, are hinting at how Karen is slipping back into her old, ruthless ways. We even see her briefly smirking during that torture scene. It seems part of her character arc will involve her overcoming her character flaws from her assassin days, and overcoming her self-doubts about her abilities as a mother, which has been something bothering her throughout this arc. No doubt the children will be a huge factor in aiding her character development, as we see that it's Karen's memories of them that briefly allow her to cast aside her self-doubts. It's likely that Mr. Weapons will act as a foil to Karen, representing the parent she could have been, an uncaring and ruthless assassin who endangers the kids with their line of work. Lastly, I earlier hinted at how I believe the next episode is likely to be a movie. I'm very confident that this will be the case. This episode ended on a massive cliffhanger. The outro was grey and silent, which is generally a sign that a big episode is approaching, and of course, the biggest piece of evidence is how the SMG4 channel's banner has been updated to reflect what is currently ongoing in the Karen arc, which is a massive sign that the yearly SMG4 movie is approaching fast. Expect a movie trailer next Wednesday.